In our society, we are facing a problem of teenage pregnancy, which causes the issue of abortion. There is a very high rate of teenage pregnancy and abortion in our society, and that is not healthy or good for every individual and the society as a whole. This issue occurs because of the irresponsibility of our youth. They are having unprotected sexual activities which are not safe and may cause them a lot of problems, such as HIV, AIDS, STD, STI, and other sexual transmitted disease, not only pregnancy. Are you a teenager and are pregnant? If you're not, then you're safe, right? Wrong. Teen pregnancy affects society as a whole. This issue has a domino effect on everyone. People of all ages, race, and social class are affected by this issue. Teenage pregnancy greatly affects teens emotionally, socially, and financially. However, many people think that effects of teen pregnancy are only experienced directly by the teens that have a child at a young age. What society might not be aware of is that teen pregnancy is a bigger issue than just kids having kids of their own. Not only those teen pregnancy affects society financially, but also it creates intergenerational issue. For medical, maternal and prenatal health is of particular concern among teens who are pregnant or parenting. The worldwide incidence of premature birth and low birth weight is higher among adolescents' mothers. In a rural hospital in West Bengal, teenage mother between 15 to 19 years old were more likely to have anemia, preterm delivery, and low birth weight than mother between 20 to 24 years old. Research indicates that pregnant teens are less likely to receive prenatal care, often seeking it in the third trimester, if at all. The Guttmacher Institute reports and one-third of pregnant teens receive insufficient prenatal care, and that children are more likely to suffer from health disease or health issue in childhood or be hospitalized than those born to older women. Young mothers who are given high quality maternity care have significantly healthier babies than those that do not. Many of the health issues associated with teenage mothers, many of whom do not have health insurance, appear to result from lack of access to higher quality medical care. Many pregnant teens are subject to nutritional deficiency from poor eating habits common in adolescents, including attempts to lose weight through dieting, skipping meals, food fadism, snacking, and consumption of food. Inadequate nutrition during pregnancy is an even more marked problem among teenagers in developing countries. Complication of pregnancy result in the death of an estimated 70,000 teen girls in developing countries each year. Young mothers and their babies are also at greater risk of contracting HIV. The World Health Organization estimates that the risk of death following pregnancy is twice as great for women between 15 and 19 years old than for those between age of 20 and 24. The maternal mortality rate can be up to 5 times higher for girls aged between 10 and 14 than for women of about 20 years old of age. Illegal abortion also holds many risks to for teenager girls in areas such as Sub-Saharan Africa. Risk for medical complication are greater for girls 14 years of age and younger, as an underdeveloped pelvis can lead to difficulties in childbirth. Obstructed labor is normally dealt by cesarean section in industrialized nations. However, in developing regions where the medical services might be unavailable, it can lead to eclampsia, obstetric fistula, infant mortality, or maternal death. For mothers in their late teens, age in itself is not a risk factor and poor outcomes are associated more the society economy factors rather than with biology. Psychosocial. Several studies have examined the psychoeconomic, medical, and psychological impact of pregnancy and parenthood in teens. Life outcomes for teenage mothers and their children vary. Other factors, such as poverty or social support, may be more important than the age of the mother at the birth. Many solutions to counteract the more negative findings have been proposed. Teenage parents who can rely on family and community support, social services, and child care support are more likely to continue their education and get higher paying jobs as they progress with their education. In the mother, being a young mother in an industrialized county can affect one's education. Teen mothers are more likely to drop out of high school. Recent study, though, have found that many of these mothers had already dropped out of school prior to become pregnant, but those in school at the time of their pregnancy were as likely to graduate as their peers. One study in 2001 found that women who gave birth during their teens completed secondary level schooling 10 to 12% as often and pursued post secondary education 14 to 29% as often as women who waited until age 30. Young motherhood in other industrialized countries can affect employment and social class. Less than one-third of teenage mothers receive any form of child support, vastly increasing the likelihood of turning to the government for assistance. The correlation between early childbearing and failure to complete high school reduced career opportunities for many young women. One study found that in 1988, 60% of teenage mothers were in provision at the age or at the time of giving birth. Additional research found that nearly 50% of all adolescent mothers sought social assistance within the first 5 years of their child life. A study of 100 teenage mothers in the United Kingdom found that only 11% received a salary, while the remaining 89% were unemployed. Most British teenage mothers live in poverty, with nearly half in the bottom fifth of the income distribution. Teenage women who are pregnant or mother are 7 times more likely to commit suicide than other teenagers. Professor Jan Ermist, as the Institution of Social and Economic Research at Exist University, and Dr. Roger Enham, director of the Centre of Sexual Health at Southampton University, found that comparing teenage mothers with other girls with similarly deprived social economic profiles, bad school experiences, and low educational aspiration, the difference in their respective lives chances with needledly. Teen motherhood may actually make economic sense for young women with less money. Some research suggests, for instance, long-term study by Duke economist V. Joseph Hester and colleagues, published in 2005, found that by age 35, former teen moms had earned more in income, paid in taxes, were substantially less likely to live in poverty, and collect less in public assistance than similarly poor women who waited until their 20s to have babies. Women who become mother in their teens freed from child raising duties by late 20s and early 30s to pursue employment, while poorer women who waited to become moms were still stuck at home, watching their children wound up paying in more taxes than they had collected in welfare. 8 years early, the federally commissioned report Kids Having Kids also contained a similar finding, though it was blurred. Adolescents childbearers fare silently better than later childbearing counterparts in terms of their overall economic welfare. One fourth of adolescent mother will have a second child within 24 months of the first. Factors determine which mother are more likely to have a closely spaced repeat birth, including marriage and education. The likelihood decreases with the level of education of young women or her parents and increases if she gets married. In the child, early motherhood can affect the psychosocial development of the infant. Developmental disabilities and behavioral issues are increases in children born to teen mothers. One study suggests that adolescent mothers are less likely to stimulate their infant through affectionate behaviors, such as touch, smiling, and verbal communication, or to be sensitive and accepting towards his or her needs. Another found that those who had more social support were less likely to show anger towards their children or to rely upon punishment. Teenage pregnancy is a distraction to education. It sets back the lives of teenagers, and some of them don't go back to school after having babies because they are ashamed. Some see no reason to go back to school, which is wrong. Without education, these days life is very difficult because you can't get a job without qualifications. Poor academic performance in the children of teenage mothers has also been noted, with many of them being more likely than average to fail to graduate from secondary school, be held back a grade level, or score lower on standardized tests. Daughters born to adolescent parents are more likely to become teen mothers themselves. A son born to a young woman in her teens is 3 times more likely to serve time in prison. In other family members, teen pregnancy and motherhood can influence younger siblings. One study found that the younger sister of teen mother were less likely to emphasize the importance of education and employment and more likely to accept human sexual behavior, parenting, and marriage at the younger age. Younger brother, too, were found to be more tolerant of non-marital and early births, in addition to being more susceptible to high-risk behavior if the younger sister of teenage parents babysits the children, that they have increased risk of getting pregnant themselves. So that is the social impact of teenager. Thank you.